All right, welcome to NeverBoard Gaming Community's YouTube channel again, bringing you a pretty well sought after match, which is our Merfolk mirror match. Both of us are going to be playing the blue-green variant of Merfolk that is now available since we have some really cool options via Kamena Speaker and Merfolk Branchwalker. And in the case of Soko, which is my deck, I'm using a collected company variant of the deck, which is the only real difference you'll see between Gio and our builds. A couple of the numbers are a little off, but we'll show you that as we go on.
2 copies of Collected Company, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly would run the third, I just don't have one yet. So, pretty good open for me here. I'm not going first, sadly. We both have a Mutavault, and you see one of the most important cards in the matchup in Gio's hands with his Lord of Atlantis. And what makes that card very unique in this matchup is it actually buffs all Merfolks on the field. Yes. Including your opponents, and gives them Island Walk. So you have to be very careful with when you play this card because it can just unlock your opponent to come in and just literally kill you right away.
And I believe Lord of Atlantis is the only modern legal lord that does this.
Truly, yeah.
Because Master of the Pearl Trident, I believe, only counts your own creatures. I know for a fact Merfolk Mistbinder and Mirror Reedry only count your own creatures.
Exactly, and you're going to see that he puts it out turn 1, which is kind of got me smiling already because I know that I don't quite have Island Walk on him since he hasn't played an island, but I'm going to already have a 3/3 Mutavault live here that I can just swing at him if I want to. But I have the Silvergill Adept, so I'm going to try to put that out again. And I'm kind of praying that he doesn't realize that my Silvergill Adept is buffed here. Because we didn't really discuss it or anything. I show him a Kamena Speaker. Pulling deeper into the deck. Always just trying to find some more land so I don't miss a drop. Trying to get up to that special number 4 with 1 green so I can Coco. And second Mutavault comes out for Gio. And
the first Mutavault.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah.
There's the Mirror Reedry. So now his Merfolk are definitely going to be bigger than yours. That Lord of Atlantis is going to swing it as a 3/3. But it's a straight trade. He didn't see the play.
So his Lord buffing mine, and his is not big enough, so I take that trade any day of the week.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But I think the reason he was able to confidently lead with that Lord of Atlantis, there he does that thing again to the camera. He's a little upset at that play. But I think the reason he was so confident to lay down that Lord of Atlantis turn 2 is because he knew he wasn't going to have an actual island in play for a while. He does have a breeding pool in his hand. I did see it, but he did not choose to play it. He went wisely for the Mutavault.
So boom, I'm praying for mana. I find the mana. I'm just 1 land drop away from hitting a Coco I have here in my hand, and I don't have the extra land in hand.
And a second Mutavault.
It's going to make a big difference in this game. Mutavault is going to help get through a lot of extra damage and provide some surprise blocking capabilities, especially when buffed up by Mirror Reedry.
Silvergill Adept coming down on Gio's side.
He decides to untap his own mana there, trying to flood the board with as much as possible.
We saw him destroy Anthony Marino in a previous game using this particular line of play, just untapping lands and playing a lot of Merfolk all at the same time.
Yeah, honestly, I've been thinking about doing some edits to my deck and taking advantage of the new 1-drops of Kamena Speaker to really get a lot of value out of Mirror Reedry. Being able, if you run like 4 Curse Catcher and 4 Kamena Speaker, you can just start playing cards for free, basically, if you have a Mirror Reedry out on the field.
What is this he just played? Is this another Silvergill Adept?
No, that's going to be a Harbinger of the Tides, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
So what's cool here is if you have Mirror Reedry out, you can choose to tap their creature first and then bounce them with Harbinger's effect.
Yes, because you can stack the ETB triggers wherever you want. So as long as the Mirror Reedry trigger goes off first.
So I did not get my 4th mana, which would make my Coco play live.
Actually, hang on. No, it's not about stacking the ETB triggers. It's about the fact that Mirror Reedry counts spell casts. So yes. Harbinger of the Tides is still on the stack while Mirror Reedry's effect is going off.
So I Branchwalker, praying to hit my mana here, but I still don't see it. 20 mana just not being enough to get this Coco play live quick enough. So I just have 1 blue mana. I don't think I have much I can do with it.
No Ether Vials on either side of the table for either of these players, so they're going off just off of pure mana.
And I just passed turn. I know it looks really grim for me here. I see he's got the Mutavaults live. Mirror Reedry is going to allow him to, even through casting creatures, untap mana to activate.
Gio's looking pretty mana flooded here. I think every single card in his hand is a land.
Yeah. So he plays Coppola, Warden of the Waves. It's not going to really make that much of a difference because neither of us really target too much. One thing that I didn't think of until after this complete set is that Kira the Great Glass Spinner is actually really helpful in this matchup because it spells or abilities that target get countered. So you can actually counter Mara Regery's tap ability with Kira the Great Glass Spinner.
Yes, you can. And, fun fact, before Kopala Warden of the Waves was printed, Kira the Great Glass Spinner did show up in a few Merfolk lists in Legacy, and also in Modern. Merfolk was like a Tier 2 deck at best. It's closer to Tier 1 now. But you did see Kira the Great Glass Spinner in a lot of those lists for that exact reason, just to protect the team.
Yeah, Coppola is not the same because it's only triggered abilities, or activated abilities, excuse me.
It's I think it's spells and I should have brought my phone over here.
Spells or activated abilities that target a creature you control cost 2 more to activate.
Hold on one second, let me look it up.
Yeah, but since it's not a triggered ability, it's not that much of a deal. Alright, so I take 9 damage that turn. I'm still digging, praying for mana here. I still don't get it, and I top deck a Spreading Seas, which isn't going to do me much good in this matchup here. I contemplate a Spreading Seas and Mutavault to try to reduce some of the damage, but it's not going to be enough, especially when I'm sitting here with just 3.
Kopala says, spells your opponent's cast at target Merfolk you control cost 2 more, and abilities your opponents activate. So it only counts spells and activated abilities. Triggered abilities do not become more
Which
expensive.
Mara Regery is going to be a triggered ability. Alright, I didn't get my 4th mana drop to Coco here, so I'm a little sad. I drew a Spreading Seas. I'm just going to play a Water Tap Weaver here, try to tap down, keep some of this damage at bay, praying that next turn I'll just draw into an island or another Mutavault or anything really.
Water Trap Weaver, though, not very useful when there's a Mirror Regery on the table, because at any time, if Gio does find another Merfolk spell, he can untap whatever it is that failed to untap.
It's true. It's really just a desperation play, in all honesty. Just trying to see if I can live for another turn or 2.
And here we see Kopala's exception becoming relevant here, because Water Trap Weaver's ETB effect is a trigger. Finally, the first damage of the game from Soko.
Yeah, honestly, I probably shouldn't have swung there. I don't think it was going to make too much of a difference, but it would have dissuaded him from from attacking a little bit more. I could have done some stack block action or at least taken a trade. But we'll see what he plays. It probably doesn't make too much of a difference.
I think he's just going to activate these 2 Mutavaults and come in by going wide. He's at 17 life. He can do this confidently. Not swinging with the Regery, though. Not wanting to lose that untap engine.
So I'm gonna think about the blocks for a little bit here. Honestly, I was pretty much in scoop mode in my mind. I didn't foresee too much of an out from this point in the game, being as I don't have any board wipes or creature control. My only hope really is to get a really nuts Coco, and even that might not be enough.
Third Mutavault. Ugh.
Yeah, not what you want to see.
Getting mana screwed out of that collective company was just very, very bad omen.
I'm pretty sure here I got like a breeding pool.
Which you can't play untapped. Just to add insult to injury. Oh, here you go. You wanted land?
I have 2 Cocos in hand. Both copies in my opening hand.
Branch welcome
to the breeding pool.
Insult to injury right there.
Honestly, okay, there's really no chance. I can't prevent him from dealing 2 damage to me with 3 Mutavaults live on his field. So,
and the ability to activate all 3 of them.
I'm just going over my cards again here, making sure, trying to be nice. Don't want to just scoop and end the stream, but here we go.
There's the handshake. Gio taking round 1 here.
Yeah, moving into round 2, I kind of realized my sideboard isn't really prepared for the mirror match. I know that the 2 of us do play at our locals. The only 2 Merfolk players. Actually, there is a third who comes occasionally with a mono blue variation.
Yes, I played against them actually. Actually, there's 2 different people who have mono blue variations, because Mike was the one I lost to on Saturday because he just dropped all of the Master of Waves on my face.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, honestly, I'm starting to think that mono blue might have the edge this format due to all of the Bloodbraid and Ponza hype. The protection from red, I think, can play a pretty big role. But it's hard to say, because you do get a lot of great advantage from the green. Certainly, the blue-green variant struggles more against Blood Moon style decks. Honestly, when I fight them, I end up siding out most of the green cards, including the Cocos. This is where I realized my sideboard had really nothing good to do against Merfolk here.
Well, it's the mirror. I mean, there's only so much you can do against the mirror. Jace's Defeat is the card now.
Interesting choice. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That could be put in there for sure.
That could be put in there not just against the mirror, but it's really good against all the control decks.
I said to myself, I'm going to take out these curse catchers, and I don't know why, a slip of my mind, but I decide to leave in the spreading seas in this match, which is kind of a dumb idea. But I guess my logic was I can disable a Mutavault, I can take him off his green source. But with Aether Vial in the deck, it's probably a better bet to just sideboard out the spreading seas. We both are playing a lot of non-basic lands, though.
Yeah, so Spreading Seas is not completely dead here. Being able to shut off Mutavault is sometimes important, occasionally important.
Yeah,
and, you saw Gio's line of play in the first game, of course. He avoided playing an island until the last possible moment.
Very smart. And which was interesting, you didn't really get to see Lord of Atlantis come that much into play, because the first one died so quickly, and I never got one out either. Which would have been bad for me to play in my situation, because he would have just killed me faster.
It looked like Gio may have punted with that swing into your Silvergill Adept, but you just stopped fighting land. Couldn't get enough gas in play.
It happens. You always want to see that Aether Vial. It helps fix those low land hands. But, you know, when you only get 4 copies of a card in your deck, it's only like, what, mid-60% chance of drawing it in the opening.
I haven't run the numbers recently, but yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, you can't really rely to always see a copy of one of your 4-ups every game.
Because like 1 out of every 15 cards, by definition, would be. So yeah.
All right, I do have the Aether Vial turn 1 this game, which I'm really happy about. I draw 2 Spreading Seas, which looks horrible, but I don't have enough creatures to take advantage of this Aether Vial, so I'm highly considering mulling this one away, if I'm not mistaken. Because, I mean, it just seems like there's nothing. I have lands, 2 Spreading Seas, and a Vial with 1 Silvergill Adept. I'm not going to keep it. And I really hate to be in this position on the play, mulliganing in game 2. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Gio looks content to keep his hand, as he patiently waits with the beautiful Aether Vial Masterpiece mat.
Oh, it's the opposite, actually. I thought something felt off about the math. So if you have 4 copies of a card in your 60, and your main 60 or whatever your 60 happens to be, you have a 62% chance of not finding it in your opening hand. Only a 38% chance of finding it in your opening hand.
Ah, it was flip-flop. Nice, that makes sense. Yeah, that is pretty sad. Hypogeometric probability, everybody.
It's statistics. It's statistics by elimination, to be specific, because you have to calculate the odds of... Because what I'm doing is I'm calculating the odds of finding at least 1 copy of the card, not exactly 1. And in order to do that, you have to kind of work backwards and say, okay, so what are the odds of me not finding a copy of this card at all in my opening hand? And then you just subtract that from 1.
Right, so now you get to see the definition of mirror match right here.
Yeah. Both of them found it. Both of you guys found that turn 1 Aether Vial. So hey, both of you hit that 40% chance.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's 40%, not 60%. It's 40%.
Cool. Well, look at that.
That's still, you gotta calculate these odds. And no blue mana on Soko's side of the table. He's just gonna crack in here with this Mutavault.
Just trying to get as much damage in as fast as possible. I do believe I have the Kamena's Speaker in hand, but I'm just gonna try to get value off the Aether Vial at his end step instead of spending it that turn to drop it. I'm going to just get 2 more damage, because why not, right?
Fair enough. It lets you use the other mana you've got for that Mutavault.
And he follows suit, decides to do the exact same thing.
Now, perfectly symmetrical violence will not solve anything. Let's see. Yep. End step, flash in that Kamena's Speaker. It's still a 1/1, but when another Merfolk comes in, it will buff.
Or I activate Mutavault.
Or you activate Mutavault, that's right. It'll buff that way too.
Thinking. I'm trying to see, did I have in the land drop here? Maybe not.
I'm guessing you don't. I saw a lot of fish in your hand.
I have the Branch Walker here to keep digging, so...
I think maybe you cast the Branch Walker here. I think that would be smart.
Perhaps.
I mean, it does keep you off of the Mutavault swings, but you are presenting a much better clock than Gio is right now, because if he tries... Like, suppose you cast this Branch Walker, and he vials in Kamena's Speaker. His Kamena's Speaker is going to be a 2/2, but... At best, the best he can manage is to just trade with your own Kamena's Speaker, and you still have your Mutavault. You still have a possibly 3/2 body.
Truly, and I'm thinking right now in my head, what I'm seeing is like, okay, I'm just gonna try. I'm just swinging for 1 here. seeing what he's got, if he's going to try to vial something in cheekily on me.
He chooses not to. You violate a Silver Gill Adept, and because it was not cast, you just draw a card. You don't have to reveal anything.
I think I find a second Aether Vial there, which you don't really want to see, but it's not terrible.
Well, with exactly 2 mana, you're not getting enough mana here. Do you cast that vial, or do you just go ahead and cast this Branch Walker?
Oh, I bring in the Branch Walker. I'm saying, here's the wide.
Go for the land.
State.
There's the land. There's that Mutavault.
Still missing blue, but I'm not that mad about it now. I'm gonna
Yeah,
just
you
play
that.
vial.
Play the extra vial. That's a solid line of play.
So I have a lot of damage on board. He has to be very afraid to play a Lord or anything right now, because if he plays Lord of Atlantis, I'm coming down his throat with tons of damage.
Soko playing the odds with the Explore mechanic, and the odds were in his favor. Gio opting not to flash in his own Kumeta Speaker, and Block opting to do it at the end of Soko's turn, so it'll live.
Well, he had to be afraid of me putting in Master the Pearl Trident or anything, trying to go for a block there.
Yeah,
That's what's great about Aether Vial. When you have cards in your hand and Aether Vial primed and ready, you get just so much plus on your bluffs. People are afraid that you have something that's just going to come in as a combat trick.
That's what's great about these mirror matches too. Is it's a lot of it does come down to skill. You don't think it does, but a lot of it does. It's all about knowing your own deck, because what's in your own deck is likely to be in your opponent's deck too, if it's a list that either was found online or is similar to one that was found online.
Yeah, so we've seen enough of the decks. I can start to talk about the key differences in the builds. One of them, the most prominent, is that Gio is running 4 copies of Mara Reachery in his main, where I'm only running 2. I'm running 2 Water Trap Reavers in my main as well, where he's running none. He only has them in the sideboard. And besides that, there's not too much of a difference. I think Gio's actually got Dismember's main board as well, which I just leave in my sideboard. I like Water Trap Reaver, though. Very interesting card from Ixalan, I believe.
Did Gio miss? Gio missed his land drop and just passed the turn after ticking up his Ether Hub.
Yeah. So now he knows my pain from game 1.
Or Ether Vial, excuse me.
And these are the risks that you run playing a low to the ground deck. I think we're both probably at 20 mana, maybe even less for him.
And that seems kind of normal for a low to the ground deck like Merfolk that runs Ether Vials. Humans is about the same number of mana. Same number of lands. Not mana, just lands, because it's got the mana dorks, of course.
One thing that the folks don't have. I have contemplated trying Noble Hierarch inside of this deck, but I just don't think it's worth it or necessary.
I don't think so either. I think between Kumeta Speaker and Curse Catcher, the quality of your 1-drops is already high enough. Gio gonna vial in a Branch Walker of his own, finding Master of Waves. Probably gonna hit his graveyard because it's not a land.
We'll see. I mean, he could just keep ticking up on Aether Vial here and make his way to it if he wants.
I'm pretty sure you're not running Master Waves in your deck at all, are you?
No, honestly, when you're not mono blue, I feel like you don't get as much value. It doesn't turn into a game-winning card as much. For instance, if Gio casts it now, he gets, 1 illusion?
Is he leaving it on top?
He's leaving it on top.
That's very strange. I would expect him to just throw it away.
Same here, especially that he knows that he has that island out, which is a big advantage for me. I can just slam a lore down at any point in the game and just swing past him.
Mutavault coming out on defense, which makes him keeping that Master Waves even stranger.
So look, he makes a desperation play. I did not expect him to do this whatsoever, but it's kind of a good play.
I wouldn't have expected him to do it either, but yeah, he just took the opportunity to take out most of your board. Only Silver Girl Adept surviving combat.
So I'm kind of happy about this, in all honesty, because I still have 2 vials primed to go.
Exactly.
So I'm like, okay, yeah, it might look nice now that my board is empty, but it ain't going to stay that way for very long.
I think Gio's just banking on the fact that you don't have blue mana and thinking he can come back in this. Maybe he can. I mean, Merfolk has come back from much, much stranger board states. Oh, he does have a land.
Why did he not play it last turn?
I don't know.
Very strange.
Did he just forget to? Because we know he top deck Master Waves. We saw it with the Explorer.
I just vial in the Silver Gill Adept at the end step, get my extra card. I think that's 3 Silver Gill Adepts, if I'm not mistaken.
And then, even to make matters worse, he played it untapped and didn't cast anything. What could he have?
Yeah, it's very strange. I don't understand it.
Does he have a counterspell or something? I don't understand what the line of play is here.
So I do have the Lord of Atlantis in my hand, which I'm going to be very wary of when I put this card into play.
Yeah.
I'm just being passive. I'm saying, I got all this damage on board. I'm going to keep the clock up. I'm going to chisel at you. What have you got? He puts
That's a Water Trap Weaver.
Water Trap Reaver.
Okay, so before combat, he's going to... Yeah, maybe declaring combat a little bit fast, but whatever. Water Trap Reaver's going to come in and tap down the Silvergill Adept before swings. This is a very, very valuable time to play that Water Trap Weaver, too, because the no untap clause still holds into your next turn.
Oh, yeah.
So that Silvergill Adept's not going to see combat for a long time.
I put in Marrow Retreat, and now I declare my attacks.
Off of that first Ether Vial.
So here, the reason I didn't just put in Lord of Atlantis right away and just island walk him is because I honestly wanted to bait him into blocking with this creature to kind of wipe away any chances he could have of getting enough damage on board to really do anything to me. I could have just said slap down Lord, but it wouldn't have made that much difference on the clock, in my opinion, because it would have taken me 2 swings to kill him either way I did it. So now here I try to bait the block, and I think I get him successfully and vial in my own Lord of Atlantis.
It's very strange to see the Merfolk deck that failed to find islands, or any source of blue mana for that matter, being ahead in the game.
That's the magic of vial.
And then there comes that Lord of Atlantis. So you baited that block out. That Silvergill Adept is now a 4/3, which is bigger than that Water Trap Weaver. Oh wait, is it? No, Lord of Atlantis actually pumps it too.
Mm-hmm.
So the Silvergill Adept's also going to die, or it should. Why isn't it?
Oh, I think that might be a miscalc on Gio's part, or one of our parts here. Yet again, really tricky thinking here.
Yeah, Lord of Atlantis should have pumped Water Trap Weaver with 3/3, so that should have been a straight trade.
Yeah, I was a 4/3, and his Water Trap was a 3/3, so...
That Silvergill Adept should not be alive.
Yeah, misplays, guys. It's easy to do that. Merfolk is a lot of mental calculation, so... He brings out Coppola, which... That's not going to be much help right now.
So that's 2 blue mana, though, for the Master of Waves. That's why he kept the Master of Waves on top, is because that was his long-term plan. So that land drop he missed earlier was just a mistake. He actually had lands in his hand.
Strange.
So here comes Master of Waves.
Really messy match. But it's not enough, because I have the Island Walk. I'm coming through all those tokens anyway.
Did you have... Yeah, you had 8 damage on board despite... I think, anyway, because the Lord of Atlantis was going to be a 3/3.
Yeah, and, well, Silvergill wasn't going to untap either, which I'm not sure
Oh, yeah, the Silvergill wasn't going to untap. So, yeah, that actually should have been a scoop there. So because Gio missed the fact that his own creature was being buffed by the Lord of Atlantis...
Second time that's happened this set.
Yeah, the first time it cost him, and the second time it cost him 2. And in this case, it cost him a win. So now we're going to game 3. Yeah. We've been noticing a lot of mistakes from some of these games, in fact. Some mistakes in our casting, in fact. There was that one game, that one standard match between the Bance Approach deck and the Blue-Black Mid-Range deck in Standard.
With the mysterious Lost Legacy.
No, not the mysterious Lost Legacy.
Okay.
But we did make a mistake there, too. I thought Tom Cologne had no Approach to the Second Sun in his hand. Turns out he had 1. It's just that, of course, Brandon Barrett never called it. He called Carnage Tyrant with that, as it turns out. We had one commentator, we had one commenter on that video actually point out, I think maybe he had called Carnage Tyrant with this, and then Brandon Barrett himself responded with, yeah, that's exactly what I did. How'd you know? But no, that's not the game I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one between Tom Cologne and Anthony Marino, where Tom Cologne was living off the top deck, found an Hour of Promise that, we were talking about scavenger grounds and like deserts and stuff, and then we turn our heads back to the camera, and then we're like, wait a minute, why did that Hour of Promise not resolve? Turns out Marino had activated Scarab God twice, targeting the same Torrential Gearhulk. So that's something you can do if that first one is on the stack. What had happened was, because we started talking about Scavenger Grounds because Tom Cologne was trying to crack it in response to the first Scarab God activation, but Marino had enough mana to do it again in response to his graveyard getting exiled.
Put it back on top of the stack, making sure it resolves before the Scavenger Grounds.
Yeah, and that's how he was able to counter that Hour of Promise that we thought had mysteriously not resolved for some reason.
Alright, so into game 3. Honestly, wasn't feeling very confident. I didn't like the look of this hand either, but I think I decided to stay with it. After game 2, I'm like, why the heck did I keep these Spreading Seeds in my deck? I think I sided some of them out for this round. Top deck, the Botanical Sanctum, which is amazing to see. Just making sure all your Merfolk are going to be live this game when paired with the Mutavault.
Turn 1 Mutavault on Soko's side of the table, so he's ready to go swinging himself, but Gio's got a Mutavault to answer back if he wants to go on defense.
Decides not to activate his Mutavault to get an extra point of damage in
No. He couldn't, because that Mutavault had Summoning Sickness.
Well, he could have brought it in and then just buffed up his Commander Speaker.
No, his Commander Speaker was already a 3/3. The Breeding Pool
Breeding Pool, you're right, my bad.
But Community is already 2/2. The breeding pool is an island. Not a 3/3. He doesn't become a 3/3 until that first lord. Silvergill showing Branch Walker there.
Another hand, I need to shuffle a little better because I'm getting 3 Silvergill Adept yet again.
Gotta start pile shuffling. Believe in the Goku. There's Mirror Regery. Gio loving that card. Now Commander Speaker's a 3/3, and it's going to come in against that Silvergill Adept. Soko wisely opting not to block.
Really, the Mirror Regery is the key to victory in this mirror match, without a doubt. That card only buffs your own Merfolk and just takes away all their defensive options from preventing any of the damage going through.
And
or it accelerates you at the same time again.
Yeah, we've seen Gio do that a lot, just untapping his own lands and barfing a bunch of Merfolk on the table. It's so elegant to watch.
So I'm trying to figure out what's the best line of play here to put up enough pressure on him, but it's difficult for me because I'm going without a Lord or a Mirror Regery here. I got no buffing in my hand right now, so I just have all these vanilla Merfolk against his that are all plussed up by Regery. So I'm just going to keep digging, praying for an answer, keep showing him the same Branch Walker. And that's going to get me a Lord of Atlantis. But since he got the play, he's going to always be a little bit ahead of me in how many creatures are on the board, which makes it very difficult for me to put Lord of Atlantis out without just giving him the game right away.
On the flip side, though, you don't have any islands on your side of the table, and he does.
Nice. But now we see the second Marrow Regery.
Oh.
And that's like the worst thing I could possibly see right now.
Yeah, because another Commander Speaker here will untap 2 lands. There it is.
And he taps down both of my creatures.
Or that,
here.
too. Yeah, that also is a thing.
Double trigger from the entrance. Or not.
No. It should be 2 triggers. I don't know why.
Oh, no, he did one as a land, I think.
No. The first one he did as a land so he could play his Commander Speaker. You should have gotten 2 triggers off the second one. It doesn't matter. You're not blocking anyway.
Yeah.
18-8, Gio.
Already looking horrifying for me. I know now that I can't play this Lord. If I played, especially now that I just dropped the island for
Yeah,
turn.
now that you have an actual island, now the Lord's really dangerous.
I'm looking at my head and I just don't really see an out here.
No Collected Company.
It would have been nice. It could have been helpful, but even that might not have been enough. Especially, it depends on what he's got in his hand. If he's sitting on lands, then I could have a chance.
Water Trap Weaver, tapping down that second Commander Speaker.
But yet again, not that great here because he can untap it at his own will. I'm just trying to put up a defensive board to prevent him from taking the game outright next turn. See, I was thinking there might be a better sideboard option for the mirror match. Isn't there a blue spell that is like Hercule's Recall, but for blue creatures?
That's not legal in Modern. There is a creature card in Commander that kind of does that.
Oh, okay.
But no, that's... I want to say it's Loan Cephalid Empress?
Yeah, that's correct. I remember that card, but that's in Modern or no?
No, it's not Modern.
Okay.
Yeah, Loan Cephalid Empress.
I swear there's an instant that does it, but it's not Modern legal either.
I'm trying to think. Return all blue creatures?
Either way, we are a multicolor deck nowadays, so it might not be that powerful. But Gio puts the icing on the cake and drops the Master of Waves here, saying that if you don't get Island Walk, you're never damaging me anymore.
Yeah, there's no card that does this. There's several cards that return all creatures. There's even a card that returns all non-blue creatures.
Oh,
Inundate from Eventide does this.
Interesting.
Yeah, nice little card for Commander.
6-drop, though. Definitely not going to be played in my Merfolk deck.
Nope.
And the future is looking pretty grim for me. He gets the double trigger off the Master of Waves and decides to tap down both of my Silvergill Adepts.
And he's going to get 3 elementals off of this? Yep. Not a game-ending amount of elementals, but it might as well be, considering he's just going to keep tapping down all of Soko's defenses. Coming at him for, what is this? 3, 6, 10 damage? You got to block something.
That's a...
Double blocking one of the Regeries.
Yeah, honestly, still felt like kind of a desperation play. At this point, I'm kind of just praying that I'm going to top deck into my Coco here to put up some sort of form of resistance.
Soko goes to 1.
It's sad because I know I'm so close to being able to take this because I can just slap the Lord down on the field and swing for tons of damage, but my board state isn't wide enough, and he did force me to block, so that might have made a big difference.
There is that second Mutavault, but probably too late. Lord of Atlantis comes down, but
And I honestly just did this part for. I would have scooped here, but I just wanted to show everybody how close I was.
Well, let's see. That's 3, 6, 9,
Not that close. I think I leave him with like 5 or
12.
something.
Yeah, you leave him with 5.
And that's it. It's just a one-turn game either way for both of us. But his board state's going to be wide enough to stop me. I give him the hand, and Gio moves on and takes it. He shows me some weird card there from his sideboard. But either way, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you like to see the new addition to the Merfolk repertoire, which is this blue-green awesomeness. We're going to have to see if it really is better than Mono Blue or not. There's still a lot of time to tell. I personally think it is. What do you think?
I think it is too. Just the ability to get the extra value off of the extra Lord if you want to play it. But for the most part, Cometa Speaker and Merfolk Branchwalker.
Yeah, Branchwalker is the MVP for sure.
And we'll see if Collective Company starts showing up in more lists too, because that card's never to be underestimated.
Didn't even get to see one pop off in any of these games, sadly.
No, but we have seen some players show up with humans lists that have it.
Which is very unique. And an affinity list with it, which was really wild.
That's weird, right?
All right. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Have a great night, and please like, subscribe, and tune in for more NeverBoard content.